So when does the resistance start, and what does it look like? People for the American Way has announced a new campaign, Resist Project 2025, and Svante Myrick, who is the president of People for the American Way, pfaw.org, former mayor of Ithaca, New York, by the way, youngest mayor in that city's history at 24 years old, is on the line with us. Svante, welcome back to the program. Tell us, when does the resistance start, and what does it look like?
Hi, Tom. Good afternoon. Thanks for having me on. It is so good to be able to do something instead of just feeling big feelings, as we say now, to the toddlers in our lives. For me, the resistance started around 11:30 p.m. Tuesday night, when it was clear that Donald Trump was going to be reelected president of the United States. I think he legitimately won the election, and I think that that was a mistake. I think he is a very dangerous person. I think he's backed by some even more dangerous people, starting with J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, and the Heritage Foundation. And so around 11:30, I tried to go to sleep. That lasted about 10 minutes. I could not sleep, and neither could my staff, Meg and Na and Lori and a handful of us. Just didn't sleep all night. So we created a website. We created a campaign. We began the beginnings of a place for people who agreed with us to come and join together. And by the next morning, it was live. It was resist2025.org, where we just want to make a home for, already hundreds, it's now thousands of people at this point have signed up to say specifically, okay, Donald Trump's going to get sworn in. We're not calling for an insurrection. But what we do feel we have a right to stop and resist is Project 2025. Mm-hmm. Trump is going to claim he has a mandate to lead because he won the vote. Well, he won the vote by disavowing Project 2025. He swore up and down he had nothing to do with it. He'd never read it. He didn't know the people who wrote it. He does not want to implement it. If that is true, then Donald Trump should join us at resist2025.org. He can sign up and volunteer to make sure that 2025 is not implemented.
Well, that would have to assume that Donald Trump doesn't just routinely lie to everybody, including his voters.
Well, and that's
I'm not buying that one.
And that's what I'm glad to see, Tom, that you're sitting down, because I suspect that Donald Trump might have been lying. That he might have been lying to his voters and his own supporters.
Yeah.
And that even if he genuinely, look, do I think Donald Trump read the 900 pages of Project 2025? No, I don't think he read it. Is he going to allow J.D. Vance to slam this through in a blitzkrieg-like assault on our nation's institutions? Yes, I do. I think they're going to try a backdoor method of banning abortion by using the Comstock Act to make it illegal to ship mifepristone around the country. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to do that because they said in their plan that they're going to do that. Yep. I think they're going to eliminate the National Weather Service so that the federal government no longer talks about climate change. I think they're going to do that because they promised they were going to do it. I think they're going to eliminate Head Start, which for 800,000 people, myself included, I was raised the first 6 months of my life in a homeless shelter, and the first 8 years of my life in severe housing instability. If it weren't for Head Start, the nutrition I got there, the education I got there, I would not have made it to the Ivy League and beyond. And they're going to rip that away without a mandate to do that at all. I do not think Trump voters, I'll be wrong, but I don't think even most Trump voters want any of these things to happen. They don't know that this is what's on the table. So we're going to stand up and fight back starting now.
Yeah, I think that, if they start enforcing the Comstock Act, it's going to get real interesting. I mean, of course, J.D. Vance wrote a letter to Merrick Garland 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, demanding that the Comstock Act be immediately implemented. The Comstock Act, the MacGuffin, the pivot point, the essence of the Comstock Act is pornography. It's an anti-immorality law and an anti-pornography law, and it uses essentially pornography and immorality as the rubric to ban birth control and abortions, and or devices that can be used to make abortions or any information about abortions. So one of the things that we know is that red states have much higher consumption per person of pornography than do blue states.
Oh, is that true? I did not know that.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah, it actually is measurable, and it's been known for quite some time. And so when the men in the red states discover that they can no longer access Pornhub or whatever their favorite place is, And if Trump tries to enforce the Comstock Act against mifepristone without enforcing it against pornography, he's going to get some pushback in the courts. I think it's going to get wild here, Svante.
I completely agree. And again, Project 2025 calls for the outlawing of all pornography, period.
It does. Yep.
This is, not only is that going to be unpopular, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong to arrest people who watch pornography. It's wrong to arrest people who make pornography. We believe that here. But what we really believe is that not a defense of pornography itself, is that we cannot trust or allow the government, particularly a right-wing fanatical government, to decide what is and is not pornography. You know, Thom, of course, and Norman had such respect for you, that our organization was founded by Norman Lear 45 years ago to stand up against the, quote, moral majority. And Norman Lear, legendary television producer, he made All in the Family and Sanford and Sons and the Jeffersons, family programming, primetime television, right? But he used his own money and this organization to stand up for Hugh Hefner and Larry Flint. Not because he was fans of their work, but because he understood that once you allow the government to decide what is and is not pornography, what is and is not obscene, they can decide that depictions of interracial marriage on television is also obscene.
Yeah,
they can decide that two men holding hands is obscene. They can decide that any sex ed teacher in America is actually distributing pornography, not teaching kids about anatomy, but distributing pornography. Again, something that they wrote down in black and white in Project 2025.
Yep.
So we're going to stand up for free expression. And that includes saying pornography should not be banned because pornography should not be banned. But also pornography should not be banned because they can't define it. And if they can't define it, then we're going to get enormous mission creep, and they're going to start banning things that nobody thinks is obscene.
Yeah.
And of course, we have different definitions of obscene. I think mocking disabled reporters is obscene.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's wrong. Donald Trump shouldn't have been arrested for doing it, but I don't condone it. But I wouldn't say that he should be arrested. So we're gonna fight against their pornography ban as well.
Yeah, and that's just the beginning. I mean, there are so many levels. So the question then becomes, we're talking with Svante Myrick, the president of People for the American Way. How do we best resist? I get it that you guys institutionally are going to go after these things. You're going to publicize them. You're going to fund efforts to stop them. What does the average person do other than going to resist2025.org and signing up? Obviously that's step one, but what else can we do?
Yeah, well, I know a lot of people are bummed out right now. Let's put it lightly, because of course the Republicans will control the Senate. It looks like the race for the House.
Oh yeah, I'm running a support group here right now.
Yeah. But look, we are not powerless. And we are not without tools. That's why at resist2025.org, you can see some of the tools we have, and you can sign up to use some of our tools. But also, we're asking people with a humility that, frankly, I think has been missing from the Democratic Party for a while, to tell us what they think needs to be done. So if you go to resist2025.org, you can do that. But right away, there's some things people can do. First, you can contact your senators. The Democrats control the Senate right now. President Biden has nominated a couple dozen judges that need confirmation. We need to confirm every judge we can, even if it means holding a lame duck session. That's what we can do right now. So people, if you are feeling bummed out, frustrated, sign up to our website, learn how to contact every senator that you can, and demand that they confirm every Biden judge. Second thing you could do is watch.
And let me add to that, and demand that Dick Durbin stop respecting blue slips from Republican senators when Mitch McConnell refused to respect them, when he was Senate Majority Leader.
That's absolutely right. Look, we, for the readers who don't know blue slips, it was sort of like a one-man
it's like a veto
filibuster.
Yeah.
It's any Republican senator can say, this judge from my own state, I don't like him. And even though Democrats controlled the Senate, Dick Durbin and the Judiciary Committee, respected the institution. Like, we respected the institution so much that we weren't willing to make any changes or reforms.
Yeah, which was crazy because Mitch McConnell had already blown up blue slips, a decade ago. And,
that's right.
And just ignored
them. And if you think, and unless we maintain immense pressure, if you don't think that the Republicans will explode the filibuster to pass every right-wing law.
Oh, yeah, they're going to take down the filibuster first thing if they control the House.
That's right. And we, the whole time, with our great respect for these institutions, refused to reform the filibuster.
I know.
It's such a mistake. I mean, first of all, why are we respecting institutions that don't work?
Well, an institution that came out of slavery. I mean, the filibuster was there is put into place in the 1830s in order to help enforce the rules that you can't speak about slavery. I mean,
that's 100%.
So anyway.
Yep. It's never worked for us since the beginning. The entire institution of the Senate is, of course, anti-democratic because it leads to wildly disproportionate representation of the American people's interests. And yet we respect this institution while they trample all over it. I think we got to get smarter and tougher. I'm sick of losing, and I'm sorry, Tom, I am such a fan of your program. I think it's the third time I've been on, and I'm always so pleased to be on. But you might notice I'm in a fighting mood. Yeah. I've been fighting everybody in my life. I'm on like a hair trigger these last couple of days because I am worried. This is worse than last time. This is scarier than last time, and I fear that people are dramatically underreacting. They think, well, he was president before, it went poorly, but we all survived. First, we didn't all survive.
Yeah, 500,000 of us died unnecessarily.
Exactly, needlessly from COVID. And second, at least that first time, there were reasonable, professional, if partisan, people in place in the White House.
Yeah, and they're not going to be there this time. Svante, I'm sorry, I'm out of time. I got to wrap it up. It's Svante Myrick, the president of People for the American Way, PFAW.org, and, of course, resist2025.org. Svante, thanks so much for dropping by.
Thank you so much, sir.
Keep up the great work.